Peace and love. What's going on, family? We are live. We are live. I'm coming out with you with five. Welcome to another episode of Gavin Richard Presents on my channel, GBoo2786. Hope you guys are all right, doing well. Thank you for joining me. We're trying to get a few more people in the chat room. A lot has been going on. Hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful Thursday night here in Louisiana, the calm before the storm, because they're expecting it to rain pretty badly, I think, over the next 24 hours. I know in St. Charles Parish, they actually had a flash flood warning. I was actually about to head out possibly late at night. Try to see if we can get some more people in the chat room. Nobody. We're trying to wait for a few more people to come in. Who's ever in the chat room, shout out, say something. Okay, we got a few more people coming in. Yeah, that's it. Come on. Let me see. I'm going to put up some more articles, too, for everybody that can watch what our topic is tonight. I wish there was some more positive news in the world, because it just seems like everything is negative, guys. Everywhere we go, we see something negative that's reported, whether it's stuff coming out of Dallas with Joshua Brown or Geiger and Botham John, and Donald Trump is president, all types of different stuff that's just coming in and going forth. And, it's all just terrible what's been going on lately, man. So I wish this was something we can do more that was more positive. And I remember a few years ago, even Pope Francis, he mentioned how the news was looking for something negative always. They don't report the things that good people do. And that is true to a degree, because it is about sensationalism. It's about ratings when it comes to media. That's why I think when it comes in social media, in a lot of ways, has upstaged and outmaneuvered even mainstream media now, because now you get news just like that. People are already on the ground, and you get it while it's hot. Not to say though that social media is perfect, because it isn't. It really can be the devil, and we see that now. And I've been very critical of these feminist groups, these racist, white supremacist, anti-male groups and propaganda that we see being portrayed every day in our daily lives, and especially with this Me Too movement. And I don't know if anyone saw, but Jamel Hill and Tarana Burke, the so-called founder of the Me Too movement, got dragged for her comments by Tariq Nasheed's followers. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier, because commenting about ADOS and stating that her father was a Caribbean immigrant, I believe, or something along those lines. And she got dragged for it because she didn't consider herself, I believe, a foundational Black American. I think that was the gist of what Mr. Nasheed was talking about, what the followers were talking about. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, correct me. But speaking of Me Too, I'm going to try to keep our video short for tonight. A lot of men, as many of you have known, have fallen under the Me Too movement. Of course, Bill Cosby is the only one that has been convicted by this, but Harvey Weinstein still remains free. You have other men like Morgan Freeman. You have men like Morgan Freeman, even Todd Bridges being accused. Jamie Foxx has been accused. Chris Brown. We talk about the white men, of course, like Kevin Spacey, and of course, Jeffrey Epstein. We know all about him, and Harvey Weinstein. And of course, we know that the difference between punishment is, of course, based on money and race. Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire that was able to avoid prosecution for a long time. And he had an island where he allegedly brought many of these girls at. And also, we know with Harvey Weinstein, from reports that I've heard, even from Boyce Watkins, I remember he even stated how Dame Dash said that's how Harvey Weinstein gets down with some of the things he did. But some of the things that I heard that they described that he did sounded more along the lines of flirting and sexual harassment. And I don't equate that with rape, because rape is something completely different. Matt Lauer, yeah, what's up, Squeaky G? Yeah, he's been in the news lately. There are allegations of rape against him. And, of course, this is stemming from 5 6 years ago. He was fired from NBC on the Today Show, and even his own co-host, Ann Curry, says she believes the rape allegations. Now, I didn't want to talk too much about Matt Lauer because I'm not familiar with it. I know that Ronan Farrow is the one that wrote a book with the accuser, I think Brooke Neville's, detailing Matt Lauer's alleged sexual assault charge, alleged rape. Now, as a general rule, as you all know, I believe in the presumption of innocence. Everyone that is accused of something has a right to have their day in court and have due process. And we live in an era now when someone makes an accusation, it's automatically believed. And I've talked about this beforehand, but Matt Lauer is another example. Also, Charlie Rose, who was on CBS, he was accused of stuff. He was kicked out. I believe even the head of CBS at the time, Les Moonves, or as Professor Blacktroop called him, Molester Moonves, husband to Julie Chen. And when Julie Chen defended her own husband while she was dogging Camille Cosby for defending her husband, she had egg on her face when those allegations came out and how he tried to pay all of these victims off. So, alleged victims off. So, again, I have my doubts when it comes to some of these things with the Me Too movement, because we've never seen any hard evidence. And case in point, what our topic is about Cuba Gooding Jr. So today, most people may not know about this, but Cuba Gooding Jr., his trial was set to start this week. And apparently, the trial has been delayed again due to a new charge in sex abuse case. This is coming from page 6. There's also stuff from CNN. I've posted the links in the chat box. I'll even put it in the description a little later. It says here, prosecutors knocked the smile off Cuba Gooding Jr.'s face Thursday, revealing the actor had been hit with a new charge, just as his sex abuse case trial was set to begin. The Jerry Maguire star was all smiles when he walked into the Manhattan criminal court, but left with a frown after that there had this one new charge against Mr. Gooding Jr., and I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. The defendant has been indicted on the charges included in this docket, as well as an additional incident previously uncharged. The 51-year-old, wearing a pinstripe jacket and white pocket square, looked on stunned. The Oscar-winning actor, already accused of fondling a 30-year-old woman at a Big Apple bar in June, will now be charged for another incident in October of 2018, police sources told the Post. Long did not provide any more detail and said the circumstances will be unveiled when Gooding is arraigned Tuesday. Mark J. Heller, Gooding's attorney, maintained that the new charge was simply a stalling tactic by prosecutors. It has been 118 days since Cuba has been arrested, and we have seen the district attorney having compiled hundreds of pages of irrelevant, non-incriminating material, Heller said. They have conducted in excess of 7 interviews. They actually put together 2,500 videos, which, having reviewed them, do not reflect any criminal conduct. He continued, clearly the district attorney, in my view, has used this as a strategy. Gooding was arrested just days after he allegedly groped a woman in June at the Magic Hour rooftop bar and lounge, a charge he has vehemently denied. He was charged with one count each of misdemeanor sex abuse and forcible touching. Now, of course, something else they don't mention is back in June or July, Cuba Gooding's attorneys actually filed a motion to dismiss to get the charge dismissed and get the case thrown out because they felt there was not enough information. And if, from my sources, what I've learned and what was reported originally, the accuser was a friend of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s girlfriend at that time. Now, you have not heard what I found very interesting. Cuba Gooding, and of course, these are white women, but you have not heard Cuba Gooding Jr.'s own girlfriend say anything either in his defense or even against the girl, and even if for the girl. Don't you find it interesting that your best friend accuses your boyfriend of sexual misconduct and you say nothing? By the way, they've looked at the videos, and I've seen the videos, and you see this woman who is in the video accusing Cuba Gooding Jr. of sexual assault follow him, playfully talking with him all through the night. There's footage of them actually conversing, her trying to wrap her leg towards him, turning towards him, while the girlfriend is between them. And she was following him throughout the club. Now, do video cameras capture everything that happens? Well, no, of course not. But I found it very interesting that neither the girlfriend has said anything, and the fact that if she had been abused by Cuba Gooding Jr., that she would be following him all through the night like that. So, of course, we don't know what time and place this happened, but what was even more, but again, it just makes this even more suspicious. And of course, all of these new men who have been accused of something comes in the wake, especially when these are black men, comes in the wake of the charges that were leveled against Dr. William H. Cosby, Bill Cosby, at his trial. So now Cuba is facing another charge that they didn't name, that they don't state what it's for, and his trial is now set to begin next week. I don't really know what to make of this one. I feel that you can be sympathetic to victims of rape. Obviously, that stuff is real. We don't condone abusing women in any way, shape, or form. But the notion of due process, this notion of believing the victims without proof, does away with everything that is within the Constitution and what it stands for, which is innocent until proven guilty, due process of law, fair and impartial trial by jury. When the media can just run a story and it's believed by everyone, what does that do for the man who's accused of it? How does he mount a defense? It would be nearly impossible when you have television shows and programs showing this 24/7 and doing specials on it. Hey, case in point, the case against Cosby that CNN ran, that hit piece. You had the NBC special. I think you had another special on A&E, the Cosby Women. It had never even been proven that Bill Cosby was with all of these women, or that all of their stories had been fact-checked. Some of these women, most of them were caught lying. And this comes with Cuba Gooding Jr. He did that O.J. Simpson documentary, that movie back in 2016, I believe, which revitalized his career. He was nominated for Emmys, even though he didn't look anything like O.J. Simpson. You had Malcolm Jamal Warner playing A.C. Collins. I remember that whole O.J. Simpson story when it broke out. So there were movies, miniseries. There was the trial being broadcast on E. That's actually how E News Channel got their start, was doing the O.J. Simpson case, as was Court TV. You had many people made a lot of money off of this. So people that, and Cuba Gooding Jr. too has been accused of being, under that illusion of inclusion, where he believed, you know, skin color didn't mean anything. A lot of black people were upset with some of the way he acted and who he was dating and so forth, which I really didn't care. I never really cared for Cuba as much as I was when he was Ricky and not Ricky, I'm sorry, when he was Dre in Boys in the Hood, and then he did a few other movies. I know he did Judgment Night, which was a pretty good movie. So Cuba, and he did Jerry Maguire, which was considered his breakout role. But I even go back as far as Cuba with the Coming to America when he was the extra in Eddie Murphy's chair. So, what's up, Dennis? Our brother, is that Dennis Sperling? Yeah. What's up, man? Brother Dennis, unfiltered. Finally on my show. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about Cuba Gooding Jr. What are y'all thoughts on this? How do y'all think it's going to play out for Cuba? Right when Cuba Gooding Jr. is hit with this new charge, you had the Matt Lauer thing that was going on with Ronan Farrow. And what's interesting with Ronan Farrow, I just want to point a couple of things out. I'm going to get to Ronan Farrow and Cuba Gooding Jr. Ronan Farrow, as you may know, his father is Woody Allen, and his mother is Mia Farrow. And if you remember the scandal back in the 90s, Mia Farrow and Woody Allen had a big breakup over the fact that Woody Allen was sleeping with Mia Farrow's adopted daughter. Now, this was also somebody, Woody Allen, thank you, Dennis. This is somebody else. Woody Allen also played a role in raising as well, because he had been with Mia Farrow for years. So he knew this girl as a young girl. And Mia Farrow caught Woody Allen, went to his his drawer, and actually found pictures of her daughter half naked. So when she confronted Woody Allen, Woody was like, it is what it is. Now, he was never charged with anything, and he was also accused of abusing his other daughter, Dylan Farrow, and he was under investigation for that. And, of course, he was never convicted. He was never charged with anything, and yet he celebrated. And even Scarlett Johansson, shout out to brother from your world, Harvey Superboy. He talked about this, how Scarlett Johansson came to Woody Allen's defense, saying she would love to do movies with him again. So they stay on code with each other. And getting back to Cuba, and Ronan is part of that Me Too thing. He's the one that wrote that book on Matt Lauer, but this thing with Cuba, I just think it stinks to high heaven why they're actually having him dragged out, probably 1 year, a possibility of. See, that's another thing that disturbs me, is that over a misdemeanor, they dragged Cuba Gooding Jr. in handcuffs. Never forget that. Normally, if you get charged, you can turn yourself in with your attorneys. They don't do stuff like that, but they brought him in handcuffs to the police station. And on top of that, when he even went to court on his first day, they still brought him in handcuffs. I actually saw this shit. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You bring someone in handcuffs over a misdemeanor. Now, if he's in jail and central lockup, they lock up the inmates when they make their appearances. That I can expect, but not someone that comes there freely. And it's clearly that they were doing this for the cameras. And I truly believe, don't be shocked if Cuba doesn't walk from this, because they've derailed his career, just like looks like they're trying to do with Bill Cosby, like they have done with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is dead, and they're still defaming this man. Not to mention also, look at what happened with Tiger Woods. When I think of what happened with Tiger a few years ago, remember Tiger Woods was the one who was the victim of the assault by his wife. Regardless of the moral, his moral amplitude, what he was doing with all of these women and so forth, he was the victim of a domestic abuse battery, and yet he was the one that lost his endorsement deals. He was the one that was forced out of golf for a while. He was the one that was the villain throughout the media. That's what Malcolm was talking about. Media is the most powerful tool in the world. Why? Because they have the ability to make the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. Tiger Woods was assaulted. If he were a man, if he were a woman, and she had done that, and that was a man that did that to him, if he were a woman, they would be in jail. He wouldn't. But Tiger's the one that got punished. Yeah, Tavis Smiley got falsely accused of what they did with him. They took his show off PBS. For women that he was dating. They didn't even do that proper research with it. And, Tavis, he took it seriously. He went actually and got on a media tour. I remember he was on, I think, Bill O'Reilly when Bill O'Reilly was still on and talking about it. You don't have to like Bill O'Reilly, and he's been accused of a lot of stuff as well, O'Reilly. But we know how racist and arrogant he is. But, yeah. And O'Reilly was even, agreeing with him. That was probably the best thing I heard Fox News say when they felt he got railroaded. So tell me what your thoughts are, what you think about Cuba Gooding Jr. I refrain from comment, but it's going to be interesting to watch, but don't let them fool you on it. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. I was going to keep this under 30 minutes. So you guys have a good night. Get some rest and enjoy. Cuba pissed off somebody in Hollywood. Yeah, I believe that too. But thank y'all for tuning in, guys. Peace. Subscribe and leave a comment. And please donate to the channel. See you, Squeaky G.